Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 114 of the Talk is Cheap show. Now, before we start, you would have noticed that our usual guy, Curtis, is not in studio today. I'm trying to find him. No, he couldn't make it today. But you know what? I pulled out all the stops behind the scenes and managed to work some magic, and I managed to get the CEO, the creator, the founder, the man himself, AKA my younger sibling, Robbie of AFTV and DR Channel in the house. What are you saying?
You know, you said that Curtis couldn't make it today. Remember back in the day, then reggae?
Oh.
Curtis couldn't make it today.
Yeah, that's a
Curtis
throwback.
couldn't make it today, but we got Robbie in the building.
Yeah, a throwback to him, man. But listen,
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to announce we've got my younger sibling, the main man in the house. and he's
104.
here
How many
with us.
episodes now?
114, man.
Jeez,
Stretching back now over 2 years. So.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, we've been keeping it consistent. But listen, man, as I said to you before, thanks to you, you believed in the project and you allowed us to do our thing.
What, you
and
think
here we are, 114 shows later.
Who said I believed in it?
Well, that's what you told me to my face.
No,
You know what I mean?
love the show, man. Love the show.
Yeah,
Love the
respect,
show. And I
man.
love being on it, man. So, yeah.
Respect, man. Thanks for coming on. And listen, I'm looking forward to this, man, because I've got some things to throw at you later, and I'll be interested to hear what you got to say.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's all good, man. So let's get straight into it. And people who watch the show regularly, and those who don't watch the show regularly, what we like to do is to kick off the show by looking at Arsenal's last game. So Arsenal's last game since the last show was last weekend, away to Watford. Potentially a banana skin game. We've done well there over the past, but you know, Watford, their previous game, they'd gone to Man United and got a creditable draw. So, and we knew they were going to come and put up a bit of a fight because let's face it, man, they need to. They're in a lowly position. But how would I sum it up? A very entertaining game.
Oh, what an entertaining game. I think the goals in that game are of the highest standard. The Arsenal
man.
goals, the Watford goal, I mean, that goal by Hernandez.
Was you one of those fans applauding? One of the Arsenal fans? Apparently a lot of Arsenal fans.
What, the Watford goal?
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Good Hernandez.
Applauding. I was vexed with that winning. What am I applaud? I'll applaud after. You know what I mean? When we won the game 3-2, yeah, Hernandez, great goal. But during the game, I was vexed, man. You know, you're thinking who should have closed him down. But it was just a great goal.
But you know what? It's not even like closing him down. Okay, they did a tap down the left and Tierney got
I think they're
a
going
bit too easily.
stop the ball from coming in. I
But
think it was
once
Martinelli,
the
actually.
delivery and then the execution was...
No, it was a brilliant goal. The way and plus as well, he was sort of bunched up with the defenders and he backed away and created the space for him, and it was a fantastic finish. But let's talk about our goals. Fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Right? So we haven't gone in chronological order, forgive me. So the first goal was...
People clapping that goal. Is that what was going on?
No, I read somewhere this week where they were saying even Arsenal fans in the stadium and around the ground was
Not the Arsenal fans I know. We ain't clapping nothing. You clap it when the game's finished.
That's
well
right,
done.
yeah.
But not
But the
during.
first goal of that game was also a very good goal.
Oh, fantastic goal.
Odegaard, after just 5 minutes. Great link-up play between him and Saka.
I'm really pleased to see how Martin Odegaard is going, right? Because I said when we signed him, I remember doing Transfer Daily, and there were some people saying, oh, Odegaard. And I really was thinking to myself, are you only just saying that because he's been here on loan, so we're used to him, and you're not getting a shiny new toy kind of thing? Because I could see the qualities in him last season. Obviously, you know, he was only here for a short period of time and he still needed time to sort of bed in. But I think this guy is going to become one of our best players. I really do. He's bundles of energy, the way he closes down and everything, leads the press. And he's skillful. I mean, the little sort of flick round the corner that he did, and then somebody, I think it was on the stream, they said, you know, he didn't just stand still and admire what he did. He bust the gut, got into the box, picked it up, and a beautiful finish. And what a wonderful, wonderful Arsenal goal. I mean, that's what I'm liking at the moment. I'm seeing some goals from Arsenal that, remember back in the day when, you know, even when we sometimes weren't even at our best, but we scored marvellous goals, you know, Ozil, Jack Wilshere, the Aaron Ramsey goal that time. You know what I mean? Them little bits
Jack Wilshere goal against Norwich, remember that?
Yeah. You know them sort of goals with the little
get you off the
flicks
edge of your
and
seat and all
movement
that.
and you know what I mean? Arsenal goals, those were known as Arsenal goals, you know what I mean? And we're starting to see that again, and what a wonderful goal that was.
Yeah, so that got us off to a great start, 1-0, and we're thinking to ourselves, yeah, man, it's looking good today. But of course, 6 minutes later, we spoke earlier about it, Cucho Hernandez, overhead kick, great athleticism and great execution. So that made it 1-1, but then on 30 minutes, another excellent piece of link-up play between Odegaard and Saka again, finished off by Saka with great aplomb.
Finished off this time by Saka, fantastic. To me, one of the best players in the Premier League at the moment.
We're going to talk about him a bit later. So
what a fantastic finish by him. I mean, the keeper had no chance. And we're talking about Ben Foster, who's a very good shot stopper. So again, I was really, really impressed with Saka on the day. And another wonderful Arsenal goal.
Yeah, man. So that made it 2-1 to Arsenal. And indeed, we went into the first half 2-1 up and we're thinking, yeah, things are looking good. 7 minutes later, coming out for the second half, we go again. Another excellent team move. Precision finish by Martinelli. 3-1.
Precision finish, lovely little link-up play. Lacazette this time with an assist, great goal. Lacazette in the game was doing that all game, little link-ups, things like that. And again,
assist now,
3-1, and you know
things are looking good. You're thinking 3-1. You're thinking, yeah, man.
We were comfortable. We were super comfortable.
But then you might have got a bit of a scare, though, right?
Of course, you got a scare because you get a scare.
It's looking like the game's all wrapped up, but then suddenly, Watford, to be fair to them, they never really gave up.
They never gave up. Listen, this is what we're going to get now, right? Yeah. Teams are fighting for their lives, right? Maybe earlier on in the season, Watford wouldn't have really pushed. It might have been just, we've lost 3-1. Let's just not make it 4-5, right? We did hit the post before they went and got their goal, but they got one back. And made for a nervy sort of last. Yeah, but to be fair to Arsenal, they managed those last minutes well. I think all Watford had was like a long-range shot in that time. Arsenal just kept the ball, slowed it down a bit. You know, he managed the game very sensibly. It was a bit annoying that they got that second goal because I don't think that was a true reflection of the game. I thought that we completely dominated the game once we went 2-1 up, and it was a much-deserved victory. And if you're going to get into the top four, these are games you've got to win. You know what I mean? You have to win. There are pressures on these games. People will look on it after the game and say, "Oh yeah, Watford, they're in the bottom two." Yeah, you see, but listen, they got 4 points off Man United this season. They beat Man United at home 4-1. Right, and they went away and they got a draw against them, right? And if you're not on it against these teams that are down the bottom, you know, your Burnleys, Norwich, Brentford, if you're not on it against these type of teams, you will lose or you'll drop points. We dropped points against Burnley, remember? Yeah. So,
listen, I would summarise that by saying it was a very good win, and like you said, it wasn't the greatest of opposition, but you've got to go there and do your thing. They're fighting for their lives.
Job done away from home.
It was a job done, man. So listen, and you know, things are looking up. 5 games unbeaten now in the Premier League. Only 1 defeat or 1 draw in the last 10.
And remember, we were coming off the back, previous to that, of a horrible January in which, we there was everyone was going, more cards than goals and all things like that. And
absolutely.
But you know what? That's also caution for Arsenal, right? Because look how bad January was, and people were writing us off. And now look where we are. Now all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, you're the favourites for the top 4." Things can turn around pretty quickly. If you don't get those wins, you know what I mean? So...
you make a good point there because it weren't that long ago, myself and Curtis were lamenting the fact that we couldn't seem to buy a goal. And now we're quite free scoring.
Yeah, things can... I look at things, right, throughout the season. So after the first 3 games, Arsenal are getting relegated, according to some people. And I remember saying at the time, I go, yeah, don't be stupid, you know.
Mind you, we had lost 3 on the bounce.
We'd lost 3 on the bounce, but
and
people
got stuffed by Chelsea and Man City.
38 games in a season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm looking at people and saying, don't be stupid. What you think? You think that's going to continue on? Us losing week in, week out? We're not. Right? And then you looked at that stage and you looked at some of the circumstances around it, the amount of players that were missing and stuff like that. There were reasons, and not only that, there was reasons why we lost that first game. And in the other 2 games, Chelsea, you know, that's a tough game. They're the European champions, and then Man City away.
Man City, and
so,
you've seen at the weekend what City can do to people.
You know, the one game I look at during this season and I just think, man, that was a bit unacceptable. Right, there was no excuse for that one, and that was the defeat away at Everton. Right, because I remember that game, it was ridiculous. We didn't turn up at all. Right?
I must say as well, in the light of what's going on at the moment, that looks like a really bad result.
Yeah. That was a really poor performance that night. But there's, you know, even in January, when you look at January, the team's ravaged by COVID. You got, you know, Granit Xhaka out, suspended for the games. You've got Thomas Partey has to come back from the African Cup of Nations and, you know, literally land back one day, get knocked out one day for the African Cup of Nations with Ghana, land back in the country the next day and play.
Got sent off in that game as well.
We had no midfield players, literally. We just had to rely on Sambi Lokonga. So there were circumstances around it. But now I feel that with everybody kind of back and fit, well, not everybody, or still Tomiyasu and Smith Rowe to come back, but with players back and fit, with players rearing to go, with a better squad at the moment, and, you know, you can see there's a lot of cohesion in that team, and they really are playing for the manager. We have to say that at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that, but
it's, you know, the performances so far have been good, but I caution everybody still. Things can turn around. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Things can turn around very quickly. Leicester, Villa coming up. You know what I mean? Tough games coming up. Now. We've got quite a tough run in Arsenal. When you look at the games we've got, you know, from now till the end of the season, there's a lot of big clubs in there. You know,
like you say,
West
man,
Ham's away,
there's tough games
Chelsea
coming
away.
up.
You know,
and there's no doubt we are at the business end of the season.
Yeah.
But you know, as you said, man, things at the moment, anyway, things are going well.
Yeah.
We're currently in 4th place, so we've gone up a couple places to 4th. We're looking to secure that remaining Champions League place, because let's face it, I think you're going to see City or Liverpool 1 or 2. Then I would imagine Chelsea, although they're not insurmountable.
Yeah,
but I think City, Liverpool, 1 and 2.
I know a lot of people are saying 3rd place, right?
No, I'm just saying it's not insurmountable.
No, it's not. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Again, things can turn around very quickly.
Again, exactly.
Who would have said
That's
a couple of weeks ago that there'd be no Abramovich?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Things can turn around a lot in football, you know?
So if we take it as a logical conclusion, then you're looking at City, Liverpool, or Liverpool, City, Chelsea 3rd, and then there's that one remaining spot. But the way we're playing now, and even mathematically, it's kind of ours to lose, if that makes sense. Because if we win all our games and all the others win their games, well, actually that wouldn't, because we play Tottenham. But you know what I'm saying. If we was to win our games, and you know what I mean, it's in our control.
It's in our hands.
Yeah.
We're a point above Manchester United, and we've got 3 games in hand in them. We've got a game in hand over Tottenham. You know what I mean? It's in our hands. Yeah. It's in our hands.
We are in pole position.
We are in pole position, but there's still a long way to go.
Still a long way to go.
I still look on it, you know, if we was in this position and there was 3 games to go, I'd be feeling a lot better than right now when, you know, games are in double figures. So, you know, there's still a long way to go, but we're in the right direction.
We're in the right thing. And you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of time out today to give the manager some praise, because sometimes at different points in the show, myself and Curtis, we've been critical of Mikel Arteta for various things. But, you know, as you said, it's a long season, so it's only right that we criticise when we think things are not as they should be. But then alternatively, if he's making the right decisions and things are going well, you have to give him the credit he deserves.
Exactly.
So I'm here today to say, listen, man, he's doing well. He's got the squad playing well. And one of the things that struck me, and this is one of the things I was going to ask you about today in connection to today's show, is that Arteta's policy has clearly been on youth, and that seems to be what his mindset is. Youth is the way forward. He's done that, and it seems to be paying dividends. It's reaping the rewards, and I think that things are moving in the right direction. What do you think there?
Yeah, no, you're right. The young players, I've still. When he got rid of Aubameyang, I was like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? We need that guy, but listen, he's made a big decision, and Aubameyang's now gone on to Barcelona, and good luck to him and that. Now, he's basically saying, young guys, I trust you. You guys are good enough. You've been delivering for me for quite a while, even when the senior players haven't been stepping up. Over to you guys now. And let me tell you something. I feel some of these young players that we've got are amongst the best.
Well, I was going to say that if you look at, let's say the main three, the three kings of the youth policy, which is Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka and Martinelli. Would you agree with that? Yeah?
I'd call it four.
The fourth
I'd
being?
call it the four kings because I'll put Odegaard in there as well. You remember?
Yeah,
Let's remember.
but I mean, I'm talking about those guys came up through the academy.
Yeah, well, no, Martinelli didn't.
But he didn't come through the academy per se, but he's been at the club for a long time.
Martinelli, yeah. Listen, we've got some great young players. I mean,
but
Saka,
would you agree with me that those three are kind of spearheaded the youth policy?
Martinelli, he's a young player, but he hasn't really come through the system for me, so I don't put him in that bracket. But Saka and Smith-Rowe have been phenomenal. You know what I mean? Look how many goals they've both scored between them. Between them, they've been out.
Well, I've got it here actually in Saka. So you're talking 8 goals and 5 assists this season. Emil Smith-Rowe 9 goals and 2 assists this season, top scorer for us at the moment. Martinelli 5 goals and 2 assists, and don't forget Martinelli's been in and out of the team. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And also, we've got to throw into the mix there that Arsenal's average age, the current squad, is the youngest in the Premier League.
Youngest in the Premier League. And I think that they're performing brilliantly.
Yeah.
I think what helps these young players is that the load of lots of games, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't got Premier League, Europa League stroke, Champions League, and then back to Premier League. So they've got a good recovery time. And when you've got young players that have got a good recovery time in between games, when you've got young players that are trusted by the manager, when you've got young players that are hungry and gifted, like you've got in Saka, Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, you've got a recipe for success. And they've been absolutely brilliant. And, they stand up next to all the other top young players that are spoken about around the league. You know what I mean? And, I think Saka, stands up with Foden. So does Smith-Rowe. I rate Foden. I think he's a fantastic player. But I think that Smith-Rowe and Saka are in the same bracket as him. He's an exceptional player, you know what I mean?
That's big, that's big right there.
Well, to me, the stats show it.
Yeah.
If you look at somebody like a Jadon Sancho, who costs, £80 million, I rate him as a player, I think he's a top player, but compare him to Saka. Nowhere near at the moment. He's nowhere near Smith-Rowe at the moment either, right? So, our young players, our youngsters that we've got, Martinelli, you know what I mean? He's been brilliant. And it's not just this season.
So what do you put that down to?
As a matter of fact, we were very critical of Mikel Arteta last season for playing him so sparingly, because we were like, play this kid, he's brilliant. And Martinelli now, he's been scoring goals, he gets better. Every game you see him play, his confidence is building, he's becoming a formidable player. And
so what do you think that the manager has done then to get the best out of those three? Because it's not just talent, because, listen, talent is talent. You have to have the talent, but you also have to create the conditions in order for these guys to fulfill their potential, and they're definitely doing that right now. So what do you see as the sort of key areas where the managers...
I think he trusts them. And I think that's a big thing, right, in football, that when your manager says, I trust you to go out there and perform.
Because,
right?
you make a good point, because they're young players, so they're not going to hit those levels every week. There are going to be, peaks and troughs, so to speak, little dips, and it's important then that the manager stays behind them, encourages them. So you think he's done that? Yeah?
I think that's one of the biggest things with young players. When you've got a young player and he's really talented, right, but do you trust him? You know what I mean? We've seen so many managers over the year, young players really talented, but you know, he's always the first one taken off, or yeah, I trust him. I like him. He's a good player, but I'm going to put him on for 15 minutes, and you know what I mean. But in the case of Mikel Arteta, he says to Saka, "Yeah, you're one of our main guys. I trust you. Get on there, do your business." Perform because I trust you. Same with Smith Rowe.
Do you think it's a deliberate policy of his, or do you think it's evolved over time?
I think it's a deliberate policy because we've got the youngest squad in the league. And as I said, you know, if you also add into that mix Odegaard.
No, well, I guess what I'm hinting at, I'm being a little bit devil's advocate here, a little bit of Machiavellian talk here. But do you think it kind of fell into his lap a little bit because we didn't get certain players? Say, for example, in January, we went for certain players, we didn't get them.
No.
So do you think it's more of a case that he's had to evolve and work with what he's got?
No, I don't think so, because, you know, since the start of the season, right, remember he bought a lot of players in the summer.
Yeah.
Right, and, you know, he didn't go out and buy a player to replace Saka, and he didn't go out to buy a player to play in Smith Rowe's role. Those guys had their position.
So you think that he saw those guys coming up
100%.
and he's earmarked those guys as the next generation?
Listen, it wasn't him who brought them through, Saka was coming through already before he come to the club. Smith Rowe was away on loan, right? Martinelli was already here. It's not like he's...
No, I'm saying that when he took over from
but I'm saying he didn't discover
manager.
These guys.
Yeah.
But what he's done is that, as I said, he's trusted them. He sees in these kids what they can do, and right from it's not a fall into the lap thing. You cannot say that, because right from the start.
No, I'm being a devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, I'm saying to you that right from the start of the season, he's given those three, and he said, "I trust you guys. You guys are starting." He could have started. He could have said to Saka, "Listen, you go on the bench. I started with Pepe." He hasn't. He started right, so it's not a fall into the lap thing.
That's a good point, actually.
And as I said, it's the same with the Odegaard as well, where a lot of people were suggesting he'd go out and buy this number 10 and that. He said, "Oh, this is my guy. My guy's Odegaard." Come under a lot of criticism at the start of the season. People are like, "Oh, I think we should get a number 10, blah, 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 blah." He's like, "No, Odegaard is my guy. Saka's my guy. Smith Rowe's my guy." You know what I mean? There's other players he could play in those positions. So it's definitely not falling into his lap. It's a matter of he rates them, he trusts them, he gets the best out of them, and that's why those guys start, and that is why they are delivering week in, week out. And
do you think that's also an ode?
I think a lot of that is down to Mikel Arteta.
Do you think it's also an ode to the way we're playing? So with this pressing game, with the youngsters, they're able to press and keep that press up consistently.
Yeah, young players, you know what I mean? As I said, Martin Odegaard's one of the players that leads the press, right? You see him game in, game out, right? He's energetic and he's hungry. And, you know, sometimes with younger players, they follow the instructions that you give them. Yeah. Maybe, you know, and just slightly going back, you know, remember at the start of the season or throughout the season, didn't play Aubameyang either. He preferred to play Smith Rowe. So that, again, he had alternatives to these guys, but he trusted them. And, yeah, you know, youngsters, they're hungry.
So would you say then, let's talk about Aubameyang for a second. With Aubameyang going, these young guys have had to step up. So do you think that it's, in a way, kind of helped them to grow, given that, you know, the likes of Aubameyang are not there? They've had to take on the extra responsibility.
The responsibility is theirs now. It's like, no more Aubameyang, he's gone. Saka, you're our guy.
Step up to the plate.
Step up to the plate, and he's done it. He's stepped up to the plate. Yeah. Martinelli, you don't have to worry about, you're not up against Aubameyang no more. It's either you or Smith Rowe going to play on that side. One of you two go out there, deliver. And they've done it. And it's been brilliant to see. It really has been. And I think that it's one of the reasons why the fans are so behind this team, when they look and they see these young, hungry players all around the pitch. Right, they're the ones that they're leading the way. Older players are coming into the team and realising, like Cedric, that I better be on my game here. I better step up, because, you know, they are following the example of the young players. Because I think Cedric's been excellent since he's coming for Tomiyasu. But all round, like you said, you look at that team. All round, it's a young team. Tomiyasu's a young player, remember? You know.
There's definitely a vibrancy and energy and a spirit in the team that I like. And I would say as well that in recent weeks, I mean, let's have it right, the turn of the year, we weren't scoring, and some people were saying that the football was a bit turgid. But in recent times, I think the confidence level's gone up a bit, and you're starting to see a more quicker ball,
and crafted
more energetic.
Goals. quicker and like against, you know, remember Watford, a very difficult team to break down. Roy Hodgson's side's always well organised. The week before, Man United couldn't break them down 0-0, right? Arsenal kept opening them up because they kept, you know, they kept playing some brilliant football, just opening them up left, right and centre, little link-up plays, 1-2s. It was brilliant. That's how they managed to break them down. That's how you got to break down teams like that. Overlapping runs. It was exciting football. I loved watching that game.
Let me ask you, right, for all the credit we've given them, which is much deserved, by the way, we still have to get back to the facts. They're a young team, and as we said, you do get peaks and troughs. So what I'm going to ask you now, do you think with this young team, then can maintain that level of consistency if we're going to get that top four place?
I think we do. I think to get the top four, we're going to have to beat a couple of the teams that maybe we traditionally have not beaten over the last few years.
Because like you said, the running is difficult.
Yeah, I think out of that running, we've got to go away to one of them, whether it be Tottenham, Chelsea. I think if we go away to one of them and get a result, like we beat one of them away, I really think that would be a significant step. Because at the moment, we're beating the teams we're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel that if we can go, there's a few games in there I'm looking at and I'm saying...
Well, listen, I've got a list here of the games, so you can tell me very quickly. We're going to talk about it. We've got Leicester at home. We'll talk about that in a minute, so we'll leave that one aside for a minute.
Villa
After
away.
that, we got Liverpool at home.
Yep.
We've got Villa away. So Liverpool home, Villa away. You've got Palace away. That's could be
Tough.
difficult. Brighton at home. Southampton away. That's going to be difficult. Man United at home. That's a massive game. West Ham away. That's a massive game. Leeds, Newcastle, Everton. And we've got Chelsea and Tottenham to be arranged. So there's some big fixtures coming.
Tough running.
The only thing I'm slightly worried about is, again, with a young team, if there's a couple of results that don't go our way, how do you think that will work out? Listen, you named out those games there, and this is what I'm saying when I would say with the caution thing. I think there will be a couple of games in there that we could possibly lose because there's some very good teams and they're away from home. But I think things are going to fluctuate.
Yeah, but I do feel though that if Arsenal can go to one of them difficult places, I mean, the first big test for me, obviously Leicester's a tough game. If we could get anything out of that Liverpool game,
that's massive, yeah.
You know what
but
I mean?
That is at home.
That's at home, right? Difficult game. They're going for the league as well, so they're coming full pelt. When they played us in the League Cup, they dealt with us pretty easily. But if we could get something like, if we could put in a performance like what we did, remember we played Man City, hold our discipline and put in a great performance, and you turn over a team like Liverpool, what does that do for this? What does that do for the confidence going forward? Then you start to think to yourself, you know what, I reckon we could go to Tottenham away and beat them. We could go to Chelsea away and beat them. So there's some difficult games in there.
There are some difficult games.
And then even at
but
this
then all
time
the other
of year,
teams have got difficult games
yeah,
too.
and this time of year, even when you're going away to, some of them teams down the bottom, they're tough because they're fighting for their lives.
Yeah. I must say, my worry is that if there's a couple of results in there that don't go our way, it's going to be very interesting to see how we bounce back. Because with young players, I don't think you can expect them to just deal with that easily. The pressures of playing week to week in big games like that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different to you because I think this season, though, we have bounced back from bad defeats. So we've seen the team do it this season, but it's just getting that level of consistency going, you know what I mean? And there's going to be some games there that are some battles. This is why I keep saying to people, we're top four now, a long way to go. Because there's going to be some tough battles in there. Like you said, Tottenham game to be rearranged away, Chelsea, Liverpool, even like some of them games you named out, Palace away is a tough game.
Yeah.
So is Southampton away is a tough game. So, but if you want that top four and you want it bad enough, you go and you turn over Southampton away and you go and turn over Palace away, and you might have to nick a draw at certain places, but just keep that momentum going. And this is where I really do feel that one game a week thing helps us. Although the next set of games we've got coming up are not really one game a week because we've got the rearranged game with Liverpool in between Leicester and Villa, which, by the way, that's another tough game, Aston Villa away.
They're all pretty much tough. There's no gimmies there. In all those games I read out, there's no gimmies. Because
no gimmies in the Premier League.
Even the teams, I'm sure you would agree, even the teams at the lower end of the table, they'd be fighting for their lives. And I personally think that this top 4 place, this kind of league within a league that we've been talking about, probably going to go down to the wire.
Yep, I think it will definitely go down to the wire. I think it's definitely going to go down to the last few weeks.
And that's what I'm saying about the pressures.
Yeah, don't discount Man United, right? Don't discount Tottenham.
Dare I say?
You know what I mean? They, you know, I knew they'd beat Everton. You know what I mean? At home. Don't discount them. Though, man. You know, I'm not too sure about West Ham now. I think they're getting cut adrift a bit. They've got a lot of games to make up. They're
also in Europe.
They're still in Europe, but I think it's one of 3, in my opinion, which is Arsenal, Man United, or Spurs.
Yeah, man down the road.
Yeah, it's one of us 3. Yeah. But we're in the pole position
but
right now.
We've
got the games in hand. And, you know, I know everybody looks at, you know, the other day I was reminded by Fuad, the Tottenham fan, said, listen, those away games are Chelsea away, Tottenham away, Liverpool at home, right? I said to him, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. And they're very tough games. But I said, one of the other games that we had, which was a game in hand, was Wolves away, which are very, up until then, nobody had really gone there. We went there and got a point with 10 men. Yeah. So we can, out of those games, there's, you know.
And the other thing I would say is that, as you know, as been proven over the years, not just with Arsenal, with other teams, when you have youth, you have a certain amount of what I call fearlessness. The impetuosity of youth. You know what I mean? They're not naturally inhibited or scared. They will go there and just give their all. And I think that's what, fair play to Mikel Arteta, he's done a great job with that. But before we talk about all those other games, there's an important game. Let's take one step at a time. There's an important game coming up this weekend. So we segue onto what we call in our show, we call it Ops of the Week. So Arsenal's next game then, another difficult game. Against Leicester. Now Leicester, they're an interesting proposition because we did beat them earlier in the season, and I actually said on this very show, Talking's Cheap Show with Curtis, I said that result away to Leicester at the time was one of our better performances of the season because we went there and beat them, and it was a really excellent team performance. So we're going to need something similar to this weekend because Leicester, they've been a bit indifferent with their form, but they've won their last 2. And they're looking a little bit better now, aren't they? Vardy's back.
Vardy's back. They won last weekend against Leeds.
How? They've won their last 2.
I don't know how they won that because they got absolutely dominated the whole game, and then Harvey Barnes propped up with a goal. I'm confident we'll beat Leicester. Yeah. I don't think it's an easy game. I don't think, you know, didn't they beat us at home last season?
Yeah,
I'm sure they did, right? But we beat them away comprehensively. They've got problems at set pieces, as we know, this season. And I think Leicester's a team, if we can get an early goal, and I think, you know what, at this moment in time, I don't think no one really wants to come to the Emirates. We've got a great record at the Emirates. We've only lost 2 Premier League games there, and that was against Chelsea and City.
Well, let's look at Leicester. They're in 12th place.
Great atmosphere at the Emirates right now. You don't want to be coming there right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Leicester in 12th place. It's very unlikely that they're going to get a European place or anything like that. I think they're out the running for that, although their form has picked up recently. I think in their last 5 games, I think they've won 2, drawn 1 and lost 2, but they were to Wolves and Liverpool. Like you said, they've beaten Burnley and Leeds in their most recent games. They are on a bit of a come-up, and they've got Vardy back, and we know what Vardy, traditionally against Arsenal, man, he's always done well against us. And I like the look of Harvey Barnes as well. Yeah, I think Leicester are one of those teams, you know, if they get it right on the day, they can be a real handful.
They've got quality, man. Tielemans, Pereira, they've got quality in their side. But where you can get at them is at their defence. And if I see Arsenal moving that ball quickly, that quick link-up play which we saw against Watford, I think we'll beat Leicester. I really do. Yeah, I think we will. I think Arsenal, if they move, with the way I saw Leeds shifting that ball round that Leicester defence and that, I think Arsenal do that better than Leeds. They do that, I think we'll win the game.
Team? Go with the same team?
Stick with the same team.
Same formation?
Stick with the same team.
He seems to be opting for this 4-2-3-1.
For me, unless Tomiyasu's fit, but then if he's fit, maybe you bring him on for 15 minutes towards the end of the game if it's all going right and save him for Liverpool.
Pepe? Because you know me, I'm an advocate of Pepe. I want to see him get more minutes.
I love Pepe, but right now the guy's Saka. Look what he's doing. Why would you take him? Why would you take Saka?
No,
out?
I'm not saying necessarily take him out. I'm saying that if Pepe don't start, I want to see him get more minutes.
Yeah, he'll get minutes, man. But right now, you know what I mean. You go with the guys that are doing it for you on the pitch right now, which is Saka.
No, but to be fair to Pepe, he, you know, He didn't. He came on quite late last week, I thought. Could have come on earlier for me. But the week before that, he came on and he was man of the match.
All these people advocating more minutes for Pepe, and I love Pepe.
I'm definitely one of them people.
Who does he come in before?
No, you find a way to shoehorn him in, man. He's that good.
No, see, that's it. No, stop that. Stop that. Stop the shoehorning thing.
No, obviously it depends on how we're playing at the time.
Stop that. We're playing well. We look like a balanced team. We're doing well. Saka scored at the weekend, right? Martinelli scored at the weekend. Odegaard scored at the weekend. Why are you changing it?
No, listen, I'm not advocating...
Why are you shoehorning in? Shoehorning?
When I say shoehorn, I'm talking about... Obviously, it depends on the state of play at the time. But what I'm saying, the guy is that good that he can play in a number of different positions.
He can do, but unless someone's injured, he don't start for me. Sorry.
Okay. Well, no,
I'm
not hating on him not starting.
I'm a big fan.
It's a bit of sibling rivalry.
I like Pepe.
I'm not hating on him not starting. I'm saying that I want to see him get more minutes, for sure. He's that good.
How? He's supposed to get the minutes in now, right now.
I just said it, bro.
No, but anyway,
explain how. We won't dwell on that.
No, explain how he's supposed to. Because a lot of people keep saying this. Oh, I want to see Pepe get more minutes. Right now, you can't drop Saka. You can't drop even if Smith Rowe's fit. Can you take out Martinelli after how he played last week and the banger he scored? Can't take him out.
Sounds like content for a future show.
No, but you could listen. Why change it? Why change it? Even I'd see the other day. There's people like, I'd take out Lacazette. Why? He's linking up everything brilliantly. All right, I know he needs to score more goals, but he's a very important player. It's
Absolutely.
Listen, it's about balance. That's what Man United.
But it's also a squad game.
It's a squad game, and if you need those players, if it ain't working on the day, you can bring Pepe on. You can bring Smith Rowe on. You can bring on the. But right now, those guys start, and this football is about a balanced team. Man United are unbalanced.
Listen, I hear you. I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there.
No, listen, let me just say, Man, you've got a host of superstars to pick from, innit? Man United. But look at the balance of the team. It's all off. Because they're just, what they're doing, shoehorning in, man.
I think what I'm trying to say as well is that, listen, I'm not advocating that he change the team wholesale and just bring in Pepe for the sake of it. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, I'm an advocate for proactive substitutions.
Substitutions, you're saying now,
if the game demands it, you know what I mean? And I think a change needs to be done. Make it early. Don't do it in the last 10 minutes. Expect a man to come on and just change a game dramatically.
If a change is needed, if a change is not needed, you go with what you've got.
So I think that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? I look at Liverpool, it's Mane, Salah. They start the games. They've got great backup. They've got Jota, they've got your Diaz and all that, but they go with those two main guys. So I want us to keep with the balanced team that is doing the job on the pitch.
Well, they say you don't change a winning team, so,
Don't change it.
I agree with that. But like I said, more minutes for Pepe, please. But anyway, it behoves me to ask you for a prediction for the game.
Defense.
He could probably play there as well. He's probably talented enough.
I'm going for... I've been conceding a few goals recently, so I'm going to go for a 3-1.
3-1? I like the look of that. I'm going 2-1. I think it'll be a tough game. Leicester normally do give us a tough game. Vardy's going to play, so he's probably going to get one. He always seems to score against us, but I expect us to go on and win the game. But I do think it's going to be a hard-fought but entertaining game, yeah? So my man here, he's going 3-1, I'm going 2-1. We both agreed that Arsenal are going to win, and that kind of brings us on nicely to the final part of the show, the conclusion of the show. You want to say anything in closing?
What I want to say is, as I said, I'm liking what I see with Arsenal. I like the young players. I think at the Emirates, what we've got to really keep doing as fans is make that a fortress from now till the end of the season. But I think the football team and the fans just got to take it game by game. Game by game. Let's not look too far ahead. You know what I mean? And let's not worry about other teams' results. You know, if we do the business, if we do what we're supposed to do and keep it going consistently, we won't need to worry about what Tottenham did or what Man United did and that. And you know what I mean? And this weekend actually is a big opportunity for Arsenal. We play on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff against Leicester. The day before, Man United played Tottenham. That means that one of those two teams that are in direct opposition to us are going to drop points. So we've got to win again.
What would you like, a draw in that game?
A draw would be perfect.
Yeah.
Draw would be absolutely perfect in that game. A boring 0-0, right? You know what I mean? Would be perfect in that game, and then we get 3 points the next day. And then we go up against Liverpool, and if we could get something out of that, what would that do for the confidence? I mean, I'll tell you what. That is one game I'm looking forward to. The atmosphere at Leicester and that game is going to be magnificent. So,
and I think that's you cited that earlier. I think people have got belief in what Arteta's doing. And I just want to say in my closing argument, shout out to Arteta. Like I said, I have been critical of him at times this season, and I think I've been justified in what I say. But nevertheless, his philosophy has been on youth. That appears to be paying dividends. And so I've got no complaints, and I'm looking forward to this, what I call the business end of the season. But listen, man, thanks for coming in and being a very able replacement for my man Curtis. Shout out to Curtis, I know he'll be watching. Couldn't make it in today, but he'll be back next week. And I just want to say as well, special thanks and shout out to everybody that supports the show. Please comment on what we spoke about today, about the youth policy, how Arteta's handling those young guys, the impact that they're having and what they're doing. They are spearheading what I believe will be a very fortuitous and fruitful run for that top four. And I'm starting to think now that it could happen, you know what I mean? Because like we said, even though there's tough games coming up and obviously there's going to be fluctuations, it is in our hands. So if we take care of our business, it doesn't really matter what the other guys do, yeah? So
100%.
So there you go, guys. Thank you very much. Keep yourselves healthy, safe, and COVID-free, and keep supporting, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. We're out.